Welcome to another episode of Uppa Glen. So we've got Uppa Glen. We've got Bronagh with us today. I'm going to introduce Bronagh in a wee second, but first of all, Bronagh, what do you think of the place?
I love it.
Do you love it?
Yeah, I really love it. Like,
well,
the energy is amazing.
Really nice. It wasn't too bad of a walk to get here, and thank God today we didn't really get covered in muck. Now, some of you will be listening to this right now on Apple Podcast or Spotify. I've decided to upload it worldwide to allow people to enjoy it wherever they are listening with. But just remember, if you want to see the video will be available on Facebook on my supporters hub. So at Psychic Glen, be sure to check it out. But welcome, Bronagh. Welcome to my lair of the abyss.
I love it.
I'm so happy to have you here. Now, Bronagh, one of the things I wanted to speak to you right away about was the time that we met. Now, I know that obviously a few years ago, we did meet through doing a psychic reading. Yeah. I did a reading on you, but I remember actually a couple of years ago, you had actually brought me up samples of essential oils.
Yep.
And I actually really want to say this is your kind of witch moment, Bronagh, that you didn't know that you actually have. You're super powerful because last year in and around the solstice, my nanny wasn't well, right?
I remember.
So, and it was something I always say something always happens to me in and around the 21st of June, the solstice. Okay, so this year I brought my book out, but last year my nanny hadn't been well. And I would get a wee toothache sometimes. Just it's silly really, but you'd give me a wee sample of what was oregano oil.
Yeah.
And honestly, Bronagh, I want to say to you, thank you, because I didn't realise until I did a wee bit of research, what is this essential oil? You hear essential oils, you hear people maybe putting them in their houses and using them as smellies and things. But honestly, I want to say to you, truly powerful. And I'd give my nanny who wasn't well, she was bedridden, she wasn't well, she had some sort of infection. I'd actually give her, I got her in capsule form, oregano oil in capsule form. And lo and behold, my nanny got better. So, Bronagh, I feel like that was you, being magical, without even realising you were being magical. Because to be completely honest now, I do have a wee medical bag, and I actually got it when I was supposedly travelling to Russia, which didn't quite happen as I planned. But I got a medical bag, and I actually have oregano oil in the medical bag, and I take it everywhere with me. So, Bronagh, that was your witchy moment, and that's how I remember kind of meeting you. But over the last wee while, we've kind of became close. And some of you at home will have seen an interview that we did recently. And for those of you at home that don't know, Bronagh actually had a life-changing accident. I'm going to say life-changing. It was like a near-death experience. Okay, so one of the things that we wanted to really speak about today, because I love Bronagh, and I think Bronagh is a great speaker. We're going to hear Bronagh in a wee second, but one of the things I wanted to talk about is some of the misconceptions with spirituality. Meaning, like, people think, Bronagh, that sometimes you have to just pick up a fucking crystal. Excuse me, right? I'm going to try not to curse, but we'll throw wee bits in. It's fine, actually. We can throw wee bits. I mean, it's absolutely fine. I think it's very important for us to be really real and raw. Exactly. Bronagh. One of the misconceptions about spirituality is that you pick up a crystal and poof, you're a pixie, and the next minute, you're like, the next minute you're a unicorn, and like, people don't actually realize, and this is what I really want to touch base on, because I feel like sometimes people who are not really in tune with spirituality poke fun and jokes and have a laugh at people who maybe they assume that we pick up a crystal and the next minute we're an all-powerful genie. It's not really like that. I feel like some people, you were one of these people. What really struck me because your story was absolutely incredible, Bronagh. It was groundbreaking. It was incredible. And even just to connect me on that level. But I know that you'd had a near-death experience. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you right away was, did you feel, what was your spirituality? I mean, I'm going to say something to you, right? I'm going to say something to you, and I want to know your thoughts right away. I can imagine in the time of your life, but for those of you who don't know, Bronagh had actually had an accident where she was on her way on holiday. She was going to Ibiza with her friends, and it happened to be in a car accident. Very, very vicious accident. Took her quite a while to recover. How many months, Bronagh?
Nearly a year.
Nearly a year. Still really recovering now. It took her nearly a year to recover. Bronagh, I would imagine your life to have been before that chaos, partying, like maybe not on the right path.
Yeah, well, sure. I was a young girl doing what most young girls do.
Yeah. And in terms of spirituality, before you had that accident, what was your sort of spiritual views towards certain things?
Okay, so I'd always believed in spirit, knew there was more to what is here.
Yeah.
I would have dreams and stuff that would come true. I would get a gut feeling and I would just be right.
Yeah.
And I know it as being really good at reading energy without understanding it at the
Yeah.
time. But there was a few wee things that happened, and then I actually was going to sit in circle and
Could I ask you though? I'm going to be really candid with you. Did you think that something was going to happen? Like no way. I sometimes get
yeah,
before I'm going on a night out, for example. I mean, this was me when I did the first
I
podcast.
knew.
So then I get these, them jittery things in my belly and go, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, sometimes I know maybe not what's going to happen, but like with myself, I mean, other people can read myself. I'm like, I just get that heebie-jeebie feeling in my belly. So you had that day leading up to that.
See, even when I booked on, did it, someone actually dropped out of that holiday and I booked on.
Yeah.
I could not get excited about that holiday.
Yeah.
I just wasn't feeling it, and I was going, there's something not right. There's something not
Something
right.
just wasn't.
And obviously, with me going to Ibiza for the first time with a load of girls, some of my good friends, like I was like, I'm not going to let a stupid wee feeling stop me, but now, you know, hindsight's a great thing, but...
Yeah. You're going to be able to see some clips from the video with Bronagh if you're watching this on the supporter shop, okay? Just to let people know. Anyway, Bronagh, one of the things that we touched base on the last time we were in front of the camera was the moment that moment where time stopped, right? When the accident had happened, time had stopped. You know, the way we had edited it was like a heartbeat moment just to give people an awareness of what it was like.
Yeah.
But when I got thinking about that later on, because I always overanalyze everything, it's just the way that I am. When I got thinking about that later, I thought to myself, God, that was a spark moment. You know, and I would imagine that to be like an electric, and to me, the God Almighty. Because people always ask, doing what I do, Bronagh. I mean, think, right, for example, you get into Recce, you do Recce once, or you lift a set of cards once, oh, you never believe in God again. People automatically assume that, they like to assume that.
No.
Well, for me, that's not really true at all, and I really resonate with a God Almighty, so a God above all gods, a God Almighty, and I believe it. The only way I can actually describe it, because I don't like to have a perception, is like a spark of electricity, the biggest spark of electricity.
Energy.
Energy, but real source.
Yeah.
For me, God Almighty. And I feel like, did you feel like in that moment you connected with something in that moment, and it gave you, I remember you saying that it gave you a choice.
100%. The fact that I had a choice, the fact that I remember that it was telepathically, and like I sort of get these flashbacks, visions, and it's like, I swear, like an angel had its big wing wrapped right around me. And I've been told that. I've obviously went and seen mediums and stuff from them, and they've said things to me, and I'm like, so I'm not only making it up in my head. Then that feeling, like at that moment in time, for what I went through, the trauma that my body took, I did not feel a thing. And then that moment of the choice, it was like a peaceful feeling. I can't remember seeing anybody, hearing anybody, which is why I say it was telepathic, but just that feeling in that moment, I was protected. In some way. That's the only way I can
absolutely
explain it.
Incredible. And for those of you who don't know at home, Bronagh at this point was actually going out a window of a car that was moving very, very fast. So in those moments, time really slowed down, and she had that conversation. What I would say would be what many people would maybe know as God. Not everybody knows what it's like to have a moment in life where your life, I would say, flashes before your eyes. Yeah, but you've had that experience, Bronagh. So in that moment, did you know when you chose obviously you could choose, you'd said that you could choose to go or stay. You knew once you made that choice to stay, did you know then, did you have an overwhelming faith then that everything was going to be okay no matter what?
Well, the choice was, you can stay here with your family and friends, but you will suffer from chronic pain. So, but I think that was going to be part of the journey. It had to be part of the journey.
Absolutely.
For one reason or another. I knew it was part of it.
So obviously your life had slowed down, then you had the accident, and your life obviously moved, so you can't go to work, you can't do your normal thing, you have to sit down and face things a wee bit in life. And I would imagine then, this is whenever Bronagh's I Spy With My Third Eye started to really open, and you started to maybe view your life differently in those moments. And in that time when you were actually healing is when your awareness, I would say, that's maybe when spirituality, I don't want to maybe say it came as a crutch, but for me, I know in times in my life it's came as a crutch, it's helped me.
it's like it gave me the boot up the arse.
Yeah, literally I'm gonna say a boot in the bollocks from the universe. Get back on the right track. And I mean literally
to like really understand it and like I feel like I understand more the way life works in general now. And when I say that, and people probably go, she's a hater, but like everything is energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you that everything is
100%.
energy. And I feel like sometimes like a bad thing will happen sometimes in life, but it's actually really a diversion. I mean, you were going to Ibiza. Imagine you'd went to Ibiza and something.
I feel like something bad would have happened.
I mean, well, let's not mention any names, but I mean, Northern Irish girls go away abroad. God knows what happens. Like sometimes they end up in jail far away across the world. I mean, you never actually know what's going on. A life-changing moment. You do not know, as I'm saying. You know, but nonetheless, your experience, Bronagh, I want to say, was really brutal. But one of the things remarkable about you is your strength. And it really was clear when we did that interview. For those who don't know, Bronagh actually sings as well. She does do a bit of Reiki and that. She's wanting to get more onto the mediumship side of it. She does sit in circle. She's definitely like, she's definitely wanting to be there with that. But one of the things that I really, really touched me was your singing voice, truthfully. And the fact that in that there, I mean, if you've seen the interview at home, folks, if you've watched it, it's phenomenal. And Bronagh tells us of her experiences and then she sings at the end of it. So for you, singing is a big thing as well. In those moments, I got to see your real strength. And it's not just about telling your story. In those wee moments when you had to talk about your vulnerabilities, I mean, it was beautiful. Bronagh, for me, it was beautiful. And I feel like that's why it really resonated with a lot of people at home. And a lot of people at home, I feel, would have watched that and would have got a lot of healing really from that.
Yeah.
From that bit. I don't want to say that's incredible. So from that interview, do you feel any different as a person? Do you feel more like you're in your power?
Yeah, I feel a lot different for the better. Like, I feel like it was healing in itself to do the interview and actually come out and talk about it and share it with more people, not only the people that already knew about what happened and knew me, but I actually had some people reach out and say I really needed to hear that, thank you, and that's all I wanted from it. If it reached one person, it helped one person, then that was my job.
See, this is the whole thing, and I think this is the idea really with podcasts now. I mean, you don't really realize how big they are until you really look online and see what's out there, and then you can really see what podcasts are really a big thing now. It's being able to actually sit and be relative and share. Like people at home right now are going, God, I can relate with that, I can relate with that. Do you know, and this is really where I think you're brilliant. And for you to put that out there, Bronagh, it mustn't have been really easy for you. I mean, could you have imagined yourself whenever you were unwell and you were healing and all, that moment there whenever you just and this thing at the end of it, you've got to watch the video at home. I swear it's fabulous. We'll put a wee clip in, and if you're watching on the Facebook supporter shop, but if you're listening at home, you can find it online somewhere. Just if you go and look on my TikTok or something, you will find Bronagh's interview at Glen. You will really love it. It's very, very inspiring. She did absolutely amazing. But yeah, we did that in my kitchen, Bronagh, didn't we?
Yeah.
Now, we did do it with the fantastic Josie Cullen. Josie's going to be coming on very, very soon. She's a reader with the reading community, but not only that there, she's very, very creative. So we had actually sat down for a lot of months, really, and pre-planned your interview.
Yeah.
So I think, really, the pre-planning of it, and really all we really actually filmed was like 10 minutes. What we got out in them 10 minutes was it was explosive.
Yeah.
Truly, truly, truly explosive. So I want to say to you, in terms of growth, from you've done that, one of the things I noticed that you did, Bronagh, I'm going to have to talk about it, is you had a clear out.
Oh, I had a clear.
A massive clear out.
I had a clear.
A massive clear out. Like sometimes I really feel like spiritually, sometimes you've got to get things just shifted out. A lot of you are hoarders at home.
Yeah, it really, really helps too. See, even for your mind.
And that took you how long to clear out?
I'm still doing it.
You're still doing it now?
I'm still working on it, but I've got an awful lot done.
Brilliant. I know you clear out your kitchen, you've got everything everywhere all clear out. How do you feel clearing that energy out now, Bronagh?
Oh my God, I wish I had done it
ages
so
ago.
long ago.
And do you feel like speaking about your journey as well and getting that off your chest? And imagine that for you was getting things off your chest.
A wee bit, yeah. Just because there was a wee bit of shit with what went on. I'm not going to mention anything, but it was like it caused me more anxiety and more stress than what I'd already been through that I didn't really need. And it was shit. It was shit. But I done all my self healing. I worked on that, and I realized, anything that might have been said or done.
I don't want to say Bronagh, but I'm just, I have to, because I'm psychic Glen, but it's really a terrible thing in the world when other people are actually jealous of something that really bad that happened in your life, and you're overcoming and you're getting your wings back from the dry cleaners, and people really seem to, I don't know, be jealous, a green sort of envy in a way, where they're not actually seeing the actual pain you went through. Do you feel like you were affected by that a wee bit in sort of your social situations?
I don't like to think that anybody would be jealous of me or what happened, because there's no reason to be. I don't know, maybe because I'm not that kind of person. I can't really see anybody else being like that. But there was definitely people that were not giving great energy towards it in one way or another.
Yeah, you felt they weren't reaching their hand out and being healing and wishing you well.
This wasn't very nice.
Yeah. Did you find out who your friends were?
Oh yes.
One of the hardest.
Yeah, definitely.
One of the hardest lessons in this life, folks. This is why I'm so glad we're talking about it. Is, I mean, I've had this too so many times in life. You learn really who your friends are.
Yeah.
But with that, I want to say, really, with that, it's better. It's an eye opener because.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
glad it happened.
Yeah.
For that reason, like to see, who actually is your real friends and who's just
who's really been there for you, who's really been there for you through your healing journey. I mean, who's really there at now. That's the whole thing too, because you do, I would imagine something like that, Bronagh, doesn't take a fucking genius or a psychic to work it out, but imagine something like that where it changes your life. What you went through, I mean, is life changing.
Yeah.
I mean, most of us, probably the most of us say painful thing they'll do. When you did that as well, push your baby out. I don't know what that's like, but I would imagine it's painful and beautiful. Physically painful and beautiful, but imagine the physical pain and that what you'd go through. But not only that there, for me, I think when I put myself in that situation, when I was talking to you about it, it was the slowing down of your routine. It was the ending of what was your life then, because you had to stop.
Yeah, my whole life as I knew it before had to change, and it did change. And I try and explain this to people. I'd be like, sometimes I feel like I'm grieving for myself.
Yeah.
Like, even though I didn't die, a big part of me died that day.
Yeah.
Because I can't, I used to do dancing, things like that. I used raging that I can't do a backflip anymore.
Yeah.
Because I have literally metal in my back that stops
me. See, I was younger, up and down my cartwheels, up and down the street. Was that you too? Yeah.
Yeah. Into everything, gymnastics, everything. And obviously, I was a wee bit older anyway, so I probably wouldn't have been doing it for much longer. But it was just like right, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So
and it must have been really, really tough. But Bronagh, honestly, your energy is really something else. I feel like you're very down to earth with people. Not only you're North Belfast woman, you're North Belfast tongue, but there is something about your energy, and I don't want to be too specific about it, but there's something about your energy, and I want to say a certain glow of confidence now that's beautiful. And I feel like that there, if I could reflect that there a wee bit, I mean, people who have to go through things in life, none of us really, I mean, yes, I'm psychic, but to be fair, I can't always tell a person, all right, don't take that path because it's going to be tragic. I mean, I can't always, because some of the lessons you've got to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, for me to take those lessons away would be for me to give you a very dull and mundane life, albeit it's not very nice having to go through certain lessons. But what would you say to anybody at home, Bronagh, who maybe can't walk? I mean, you had to learn to walk again. I mean, for people who are listening right now, Bronagh had to actually learn to walk again.
Yeah. It was a hard work. But this is the way I'll say it. When something in your life does happen, mine was a car accident, it can be other things for other people. You are in control of your life. You're the only one, and you're the only one that can do anything about it. Say all this, this one wouldn't help me or do anything for me. People can only be there for you to a certain extent. It's up to you to do the work and change things. And I was saying to Glen, I put these jeans on today, and it says chaos and order. And it's about you turning that chaos into order. And what I mean by that is, thinking about what can you do to make the situation better. Do you need to go and speak to a therapist, get a counsellor, talk to your doctor? Because if you do it. Look after yourself. Like, in this life, your relationship with yourself is the most important.
Yeah.
And I think with the way people are conditioned in their life and the way they're spoken to, and not that I'm blaming anybody for that, it just is what it is, but people need to love themselves again and look after themselves again and do everything in their power that they can to help themselves.
Yeah. And in terms of spirituality for you, has it been, and this is really what we're here for, is is spirituality a good means of coping for you, and would you recommend it to other people?
100%.
100%.
It's helped me so much. Like, and I know spirituality to every person can be different, and that's fine. I wouldn't say that one person's beliefs means that somebody else's is wrong. It's just finding what it means to you, and it really does start with doing your inner work and going from there, I think, and then you sort of find your path and where you're going with it then.
So I sometimes think, me being a reader and reading for as long as I've been reading now, 10 years really, so one of the things I really feel is that sometimes if you accept, and sometimes I wish I had found the spirituality first without having to go through the chaos, what I'm saying.
I know, same.
And I don't know whether maybe, like, if you're listening at home and you're thinking, fuck my life, okay, learn the lesson and maybe it'll not have to get worse. Do you know, maybe it'll not, it's not always the case. Sometimes things in life are going to happen that you're going to get through off the track. I mean, but it's, and how you choose to really cope with it.
I think how you choose to cope with anything is really based on your mindset.
Yeah.
And your mindset is so important, and that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned that has helped me so much. And even using manifestation and stuff and going a wee bit deeper with it, like, it's so powerful. Like, just if you find yourself having a negative thought, and obviously I still do, things happen that annoy me.
Yeah.
But it's about me going, right, okay, I can't change that now, what can I do to make it better? It's about concentrating on the good.
Yeah, shifting your thought in that moment.
Shifting your paradigm.
In that moment, yeah. In that moment when you're ready to pull your hair out, or for my case, pull your wig off.
Yeah.
In my case, rip the wig off. You have that wee moment, you go, right, I'm going to change my thoughts, I'm going to steer what way the sails of the ship are swaying.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, when you focus on the bad, more bad's going to happen. But when you focus on the good, you'll attract more good. And trust me on that. Take my word for it. Try it out. Please do.
So, Bronagh, what was the last thing you manifest?
Right, so these shoes, actually, I bought these in office.
Yeah.
And they were like £80 when I looked at them, and I was like, you know what? I don't
Sorry,
care.
by the way, I'm just going to interrupt. There is builders nearby somewhere, if you can hear it in the audio. Apologies, the joys of nature being an executive producer on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So, Bronagh, tell us about the shoes you manifest.
Yeah, so they were like 80 quid, and I was like, fuck
80 quid for a pair of shoes?
I know.
Expensive, like?
No, it's not.
It's a bit dear, like,
I know, but I just thought, fuck it, I'm going to treat myself. I deserve it.
Well, you do. You absolutely deserve it. So.
And when I was going to pay for them, I went, do you know what? These aren't even going to be 80 quid. These are going to be in the sale or something.
Yeah.
And I went up to pay. And I swear to God, and I was that sure that I knew when she was scanning the barcode to ring them into the till. I was looking at the till to see how much they were actually going to be.
Yeah.
And it come up £50.
Great. You actually manifest them cheaper. Oh my God, Bronagh.
You literally can attract so much if you
set your mindset on it. Now, Bronagh, I have a wee gift for you. All right, now. One of the things that I actually gave Dave when I was on his podcast was a wee skull, and I done it on the solstice. In life, I feel like if life is a game, Bronagh, right? Imagine we were playing a game. It's like Super Mario.
I feel like it is sometimes.
No, right? Oh, it absolutely is. You know, every time you go up a level, you collect something. But Bronagh, I feel like from I've met you and you sharing your story and what you've been through in life and how you've overcame. I mean, absolutely, you deserve this wee crystal skull that my lovely friend Marie made. She makes all those wee skulls, but honestly, this one's got wee flowers in it. So when I say if that's your old self, if you could hold it in your hand, my God, there you go.
Thank you.
Bronagh,
I love it.
Thank you. Honestly, keep it forever. I like to give everybody wee trinkets every now and again. And just as a wee thank you for coming on.
Oh, no,
I mean, for me, it's always skulls. And it was my mother that said it to me, Bronagh.
My nephew is obsessed with skulls.
Loves skulls.
He'll love it.
Yeah, see, it's just something about skulls that are, for me, I kind of collect them. For example, last year, my sister turned 30 and I bought her a pair of sunglasses. So in turn, I bought my daddy a pair of sunglasses for his birthday. I bought my mummy a pair of sunglasses for her birthday because I was running about in the Prada sunglasses that I absolutely love, right? These are my signature pair. So really, when my mum and daddy went on holiday, then she went on holiday to Spain, and always when they go back on holiday, they bring me wee things back. Not shit, but wee things back.
Wee trinkets.
Yeah, wee trinkets back. And one of the things that she brought was actually a skull with sunglasses on it. So this is me. Oh, that was last year. So in life you collect wee bits and pieces.
They're memories, aren't they?
Wee memories, wee things that you'll look at when you're now done. Your hands are wrinkled, and you'll look at you go, fuck, it'll bring back.
And I remember
that was the day Glen's there in the hut on the Up the Glen podcast.
Yeah.
So Bronagh, how do you feel about your very, very first podcast?
I love it. I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity to come on, because I had actually said to you that I can see you doing podcasts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew it was going to happen anyway.
Well, do you want to know, the last thing that I probably manifest was actually this. I mean, honestly, I completely manifested this to set everything away, the whole format of all of it, really. And it was a really easy manifestation, because I'll be honest, see, when I actually tried to think about what way could I do a podcast, what would actually work here? Do you know what I mean? What would actually work? My mate was blank. One of my mate was absolutely blank. I couldn't. It just wasn't working. But lo and behold, it just appeared.
Comes to you, doesn't it?
Oh my God, it just appeared.
It comes to you.
You know, in the most simplistic, best way. So what I want to say, like, really, sometimes you think you know what's right, what you want, and sometimes in life the universe actually lays out something better for you.
Yeah, sometimes you think, you know, when something hasn't worked out, it's because something's actually working out for the better, and you just really have to trust it.
Yeah.
And that can be hard. It can be hard, but you know, learn the lesson, do the healing, and trust that if you keep your mindset right and you believe that, you know, good's going to come to you and what's meant for you won't pass you, like you're attracting that to you. So really do focus on your mindset, I would say.
Yeah.
Change your more negative thoughts into more positive thoughts, and you'll see how things do turn around.
Fantastic, Bronagh, great. Always, you've been a fantastic guest. I'm going to actually I'll get you on again, definitely, before we wrap this series up. I know we're only going to maybe do it for a month or so, weather permitting, but I'm thinking of maybe actually using this as a virtual set for them when it gets to a wee bit. You know, we've done the green screen thing. It's all possible. It's all beautiful. But it's lovely being outdoors just in the set. Bronagh, thank you so much for coming on, love. Thank you for coming on. You have been a great guest. So we're going to do what we're doing. Click the fingers, boom, boom, boom. For those of you watching at home, it's been a great podcast. I'm glad Bronagh came on. We're going to have a lot more guests coming on in the next couple of weeks. It's really great to be in this setting. I'm very sorry about. Now, I mentioned the last day when I was on here, Bronagh, about people. See if they're ever cutting it. I think somebody's cutting my trees down. See if I find out somebody is it down there.
Murder.
A chainsaw, Bronagh.
Murder.
Do you know I was actually partying? Do you know what's really funny? Do you know I was actually partying once, and there was a girl earlier, I was going to say, was off her head, taking things shouldn't have been taken. And you know, she'd seen, she'd freaked out and wanted to leave, and she actually ended up leaving. She said she just thought it was a chain. It wasn't. The fella had a hedge trimmer, but he had because he had lived in a flat, he had it underneath his bed, and she fucking freaked out and phoned the taxi. We're hoping.
I'd have probably done the same.
Thought it was a hedge trimmer, but she thought it was a chainsaw. So they get the joys, the gigs that you have, like. But honestly, I hope they're not cutting my trees down now. Or I will have to go down and chain myself to it. You're not allowed to touch my beautiful Glen, my lovely layer of the abyss.
Glen, the actual Glen.
We're going to have another guest on here, hopefully. This is going to be a bit of a two-parter sort of podcast, but Bronagh, it's been great.
I know.
Thank you so much for coming on. We'll definitely have to get you on again really soon.
Definitely do. I've loved it.
Perfect. Give everybody a wee minute kiss.
I was talking to one of my friends about this. Now, don't get me wrong, I believe in what I was brought up with as well. Strongly, very, very strongly, and logic as well.
Yeah.
Considerably. And then I would then go into my spirituality side. So I was talking about reincarnation. So how the conversation started was I had asked my friend, right, so tell me, do you know what a blueprint is? Friend says, yeah, it's like one of those things, the plans that you map out for to build things. I went, well, do you know what a spiritual blueprint is? He says, no. I says, well, that's where you believe that your soul is on a journey.
Yeah.
And your soul gets reincarnated to continue on that journey, that lesson, that path that you need to take.
Yeah.
And then you can finally rest. Now, within reincarnation, you can be a man, a woman, a child, but you have no recollection of what has happened before.
Yeah.
You're just renewed to continue on.
But the blueprint,
it's like a restart of a game.
Mm-hmm. The blueprint, when I think about a spiritual blueprint or soul blueprint, I feel like it's a mathematical package. It's kind of like software. If you think about, remember when we had computers, Sharon, software, and you had to install, you had to download it, and then you had to install, now you had to actually fucking install certain different things.
God.
And I feel like that's kind of what your blueprint is. Your blueprint is, because if ever you wipe something, if you wiped it off, you can always install it again.
Yes.
So the install always created the actual file.
Yes.
And I feel like everyone has an install kind of what their blueprint is. So Sharon, do you feel like if you could be connected with any of your other lives?
No, I don't think so. But I do. That's what I sort of, in a way, believe that
Yeah,
everybody's kind of put on this earth for a reason,
of course.
and
Everyone plays a role.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
big role to play in everybody's part of life.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm wrong within that sentence. But I just
Well, I believe in reincarnation.
Do you?
I,
because not a lot
I
of
do
people
believe
have-
everybody's like. I do believe what you believe will be what it will be for
Of
you.
course.
And honestly, I do feel like some souls. I mean, I can be honest. I know I can see some souls. I interact with them all the time. Strangers where I'll know that they've been here before. I'll know they've been reincarnated. I'll know certain things have happened. Other souls, not so much because it's survived first journey. It's some souls actually around a survived first lifetime right now.
Yes.
Here, and honestly, I think this is why maybe in the beginning of my life I have ADHD. It was a bit chaos and things because I already had prior something energy, something from past lives. I'm not
Do you think
I don't
maybe-
believe I'm a new soul. No, definitely not. No, definitely not. And I do believe that I'm maybe not always. Well, I did say this, Sharon, when I wrote my book lately. One of the things that I did write is that I didn't want to come back. Didn't want to come back again until maybe another 100 sort of maybe years into the future. And then around that time, I know there'll be a great man. I'm not going to say his name. But there will be a great man, and he'll invent the warp drive. So I want to come back in and around every couple of 100 years, Sharon. There's a good man,
right?
because there's always been great women. Let's face it.
Yeah.
There's always been great women. So I think sort of when I think about sort of when people ask me sort of about past lives, do you know they always want me to kind of be personal and yes, it's great. I can't do that in a session. I can get but what?
Why do you want to know?
But it's not that there. There's also what is the collective as well. What people don't want to understand is that sometimes they want to go there and think it's going to give them a reading. People think they're going to go into their past lives and it's going to give them a reading. It's going to fix their world today. No, sometimes what you're going to see is a lot of the oppression, you're going to actually see things that make your toes curl.
Yep.
To be really honest to God, because there's been quite a lot of oppression in our sort of lineage and our DNA. Sean, you go back a couple of 100 years, love. The chances are you wouldn't be allowed really go out to work.
No.
What the fuck, Sean?
Why would you want to go back and find that out?
But this is what I'm saying. But this is what the lineage is.
I've met people that say that they've looked into their past life and that the stories that they've been told through the mediums is how maybe they have this scar on their shoulder, or that the constant pain at this area, or they feel a certain way when they eat this food, and that's because of what happened in the past. Now, to a certain point, I do believe that.
Definitely.
Because
Sharon, I'm going to share something with you that I think is relevant to you because you live on your own. All right. Now, one of the things whenever I was going through a lot of changes and spiritual awareness, I got to thinking about DNA, and I actually wrote a poem. It's in my book too. But the poem was basically about being the soul of your own cycle. Meaning, I got to think about my great granda. Right, my great granda started that club around there where they all go, pigeon club, pigeon racing club, home and pigeons. My granda started that there, but they always, all the men in my family, everybody in my family, they were all with women. They all had, and they weren't spiritual the way I am. In fact, they actually had sport where they were there with birds, and part of that sport that they were there with birds was home and pigeons, and that is their gift, pigeons' gift to God. That's their connection with that there. But as well, I'm very spiritual. I live on my own. I just feel like I know that my ancestors would be going, go Glen. Do you know, because maybe your great granny would go Sharon. She wouldn't have got to live in her own. A flat? What? She wouldn't have dreamed of having 5 minutes. Probably yourself and there's you in this lifetime being granted. It's very special.
So much.
So much. But I feel like they sacrificed.
So much.
They lived their life so for this.
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes I feel like there's something in me, and I did say this. I said this to a friend. Actually, I don't know whether it was before we came here. Sometimes spirit will just work through you. Like it was actually in a reading. I know it was. Sometimes in life, especially I think when you're a mommy, there's certain things that will come out with your children, with you. You'll get on a certain way. Spirit will come over, it'll go through you, and it'll go, and you'll go, where did that even come from? And you'll go to your shop because like my granny sounded like my granny there, mama. They're around you and they're making you do certain things because you've got to remember, spirit is there in transit coming back. So the more you work you do, and you say when you have your wee girl, Sean, it's going to be very fucking attractive for your fucking great guy like that.
I'm going to have a wee girl in the future now.
Of course.
Right, okay, that's good news.
Sean, of course, but like, do you not think it'll be very attractive then for your... Sean, let's see if you'd have got her when you were 18. She'd have killed you, you'd have given her a wig to each other. Because she and you are her. I think you'll only have one girl, Sharon, and I think you'll have boys.
Okay.
To be honest, you'll be a wee die hard for your sons, I just know it, but you'll be firm. Now, I do feel like your wee girl, honestly, will be a reincarnation of someone else. Now, I'm actually getting this, even though I can't smell because I'm congested, roses. Something with roses. Somebody called Rose or Rosemary or something maybe. And
Okay.
the line is there. Somebody with the name Rosemary or Marie. Rosemary. Rosie.
Well, not rosing, but Granny would have had a lot of roses.
She would have had a lot of roses because I'm saying, smell the roses, smell it. I'm being shown the roses. And sometimes I would associate that rose. But telling you, Sharon, wake up, smell the roses. That's going to be your daughter that comes back. You're very
What
correct.
one? Who's coming?
Whoever the granny was that had the roses.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And she's also like, I feel like that energy is saying to me to say to you that you've got to smell the roses. You know, and enjoy.
I mean, if I was actually up at Lady Dixon there the other day looking at all the roses.
And you smelling them?
Enough. Yeah, actually.
See?
So
So I want to say she was
That's so
there
strange.
with you. Your daughter has been with you the whole time. Now, your son, not now, always, when I read people, I say to them, your wee boy is a branch off you. He's a branch off you. You can have him in the boot of a car. You can have him in the back seat. You can have him in a street. When it comes to wee girls, oh my God, do you need to be organised? That's kind of like when you build your house, then you buy your house, everything's like, honestly, that comes along, Sharon, for you. It couldn't ever came premature because it would have defined you. You would have been defined. But what's lovely to know is she has been with you through every single pain. Your daughter, when it comes to having a girl, it can make you a lot more emotional. You have to feel it certainly makes you stronger. But I feel like then, because you get that love and that support and that understanding that you've never known in your life, you finally get it from your daughter. And it's a big joke, and I laugh and I go, it's the sins of the mother. So if you like, growing up's hard, mummy has to be mummy. When you're a daughter, I feel like your mother always teaches you to be tough. And that's just the way it is. There's girl code and it comes from your great granny. And it is tough. And I feel like the very healing of that is with your own daughter. So, Sharon, no, it's not going to be too long, love. Right? Just know it.
Well, I want more.
I mean, would you call her Rose?
Probably not.
No.
No.
What would you call her? Because I think you already know her name deep down. That's the other thing. You will, girls at home, you will know the name of your daughter deep down before she's come. You will know, you'll know deep down. Because you've got to remember, it's a manifestation. You're creating it. You're not, I'm going to take a bit of the heaviness away there, girls, for those who already have children. You didn't actually create it. You were just the escalator. You were just the motion in transit that beamed it down. And one of the interesting things is, I will say, Sharon, I know this is going to happen with you in particular. You will dream of your daughter before she comes here. And you'll maybe dream you're in a lab or you're in a clinic or something's there. You're there and you meet this wee girl and you shake hands there and you're able to see certain things. And from then, you will know. It might actually happen when you're pregnant, but you will know. Wee boy, you kind of won't know because you're creating him. He's just a part of you. He thinks you think he thinks.
And is everybody's children like that then?
Well, the example is the wee boy will suck the milk dry. The wee girl will go, what are you doing, big girl?
Yeah.
A lot quicker, like. She'll do that a lot quicker. And it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Because she's so clever. Clever in what you can actually imagine yourself to be, because you always think yourself to be dumb and stupid. And all the women do in life, and we all do as humans. But I think there's something that in a woman, when she sees her own wee girl, it blows her mind then, because when your wee girl pushes you away, you kind of realise, oh my God, I pushed my own mummy away. I was daddy's girl. I never wanted to know her. Sharon, you guilty of that? Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you go out closer to your mummy now at this point in your life?
Definitely.
Yeah.
A lot more. Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, I know she definitely brought you up well, Sharon. I know she definitely brought you up with a certain tone, and I know that's in your family too. I don't know, I always thought you were from the West. Remember I said that to you before?
Yeah.
I always thought you were over in the West.
Because what happened was I moved secondary schools. Oh, sorry. I moved secondary schools, and then the secondary school was actually up the west. So I spent a lot of time up there and met new friends, and I was hanging around there. So it was kind of like, that's probably where the vibes
So, Sharon, where can people find your photography page?
So they can find me on Instagram.
What's your handle?
What?
What's your, at?
Oh, it's Sharon Johnson.
At Sharon Johnson?
Yeah.
So you can find at Sharon Johnson. Don't forget to check her out. Sharon, it's been lovely. I've loved talking to you. Are you going to come on the podcast again?
Definitely. That was so interesting. I love that.
And we're going to take some photographs now for the podcast, and then we're going to, obviously they'll be uploaded. So I'll be tagging Sharon's page in anyway. I hope you folks give her a wee follow. She's great. Remember, she used to photograph Ferraris. Shall I go call what? Because I haven't named this episode yet, but I think I might call it Photos and Ferraris.
Maybe.
Maybe. Just maybe. Did you see the crystal skulls that my friend Marie made? Check it out. Handmade.resin.crafts. Catch her on Instagram. If you'd like a reading right now, visit www.psychicglen.com. If you've enjoyed this episode, remember you can watch the full videos on my socials at Psychic Glen. Big thank you to Polymath Beats for making this soundtrack.